Hi, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the trick-taking game Mino Dice, as in Minotaur. So I guess Mino Dice is the name of the game. This is essentially one of my favorite trick-taking games, Skull King, but with dice. Just like Skull King, really the rules are very similar to Skull King, so I'll recap them briefly in case you're not familiar with that. But it is a trick-taking game where in the first hand you have in Skull King you have one card. In Mino Dice you have one die, and you bid either 0 or 1 to try to show how many tricks you think you'll win, and then you do it again, but with 2 dice in this game, then 3, then 4, all the way up to 6 or 8, depending on your player count. So the game escalates. The number of dice that you have in this game increases the more you play. And therefore your bid increases as well. There's also value to not trying to win. I'm having trouble opening this box. It's a rather difficult box to open on the fly. But the game, there's value to winning tricks, especially particularly if you hit your bid. You get 20 points for every trick that you won if you matched your bid. There's also value in bidding 0, a nil bid, and actually hitting it. The value of that is equal to the number of dice in that round. So if it's the 6th round, you have 6 dice, and you successfully don't take any tricks, and you bid nil, then you'll gain 60 points. This game is pretty wacky, though, because it uses dice, and the dice have different values. So there's a few special dice that you can see here. Pull this up. So a few special dice. You can see the Minotaur itself, the Griffin, and the Mermaid. They do different things. This shows the number of dice of each type and what's on each of the faces of those dice. They have things like the Minotaur beats everybody except for the Mermaid. The Griffin beats everything except for the Minotaur. Things like that with the special dice. And also you can play those dice off suit. So if I lead with a red die and my opponent has a red die, but they also have a Griffin, they can play the Griffin instead of the red die. Then the numbers on the dice. This is a clever little hook here. One of my favorite mechanisms of the game, that the dice have very different numbers. So these are representative of cards in the game, but they really do change the game a little bit because in normal Skull King, there are 3 different colors of cards, and all of those numbers have the same distribution. I believe it's 1 through 14. Here, though, the dice have very different numbers on them. There are 4 different colors, and the gray dice are very weak, except for one face of the die, which is a zany kind of fun aspect of the game that you may be hoping to not win a trick with the gray die and end up rolling a 7. Then the purple dice are a little more powerful, yellow dice are a little more powerful, red dice are the most powerful, but you don't know exactly what the number will be until you actually roll the die. And that is, as wacky as it is my favorite mechanism of the game. You don't know the value of the die that you are playing until you actually play it. It's not like you roll the dice in advance and then choose which one to play. These dice are behind this screen. Other players don't know what colors of dice that you have. And on your turn, when it's your turn to play a card or play a die in this game, you select a die and you roll it. And so you really don't know, say with that gray die, you really don't know if you're going to get a flag, which is an automatic, like you can't win that trick, versus a 1 versus a 7. You really do not know until you play that card. It's zany, it's wacky, but it was kind of fun to play. This idea of not having control of the number that you end up having on the table. Just kind of wacky fun there. So yeah, I don't think I have played another trick-taking game like this where I don't even know the value of the card I'm playing until I actually play it. Yeah, very different. That is my favorite mechanism in Mino Dice. Let me know if you think of another trick-taking game where you do not know the value of the card, the die, whatever you are playing until you actually play it. I'd love to hear about that in the comments below. Thanks.